Okay, we're recording.
Hello, welcome to the Clackamas County Developmental Disability Council meeting for 6/2/2025, 4:30 approximately, maybe 4:32. And I was going to call to order, but I'm wondering if we have established quorum quite yet. I think
Five, yes.
we do have quorum. All right. So, unfortunately, I did not see the April minutes quite yet, but if anyone has, is there any objections?
I read over them. I didn't have any.
We didn't have any meeting minutes for April?
Oh, no, I read over them.
Oh, you read
I
it.
don't
You have no
personally have
concerns.
objections.
My misinterpretation. I would like to abstain myself because I did not read them, but by hearing no objections, they have been approved as those who had no objections or abstaining. Hopefully I said that right in Robert's Rule of Orders. So again, they've been approved as presented to those who have read them. Does that make an official pass on the April minutes? Amy?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So, do you guys want to go on the announcement on guest, or do you want me to point out the reminder?
Well, I guess you can if you want, or I
What?
can.
What announcement on guest?
Just Tracy Garrell, our social services director. She's going to join us in June to present on our equity toolkit that we recently implemented.
Okay.
So she wanted to be here today, but there was a conflict in meetings, and I think her plan is to actually join us as frequently as she can. So that's really great. So if we see her at more meetings, don't be shocked. You're not doing anything wrong.
Nope.
It's just she's interested in coming to the meeting. So
Very cool.
And she's not really a guest.
yeah.
So
yeah, I guess yeah.
That's why I was confused. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's on my language. I
That's
should have
okay.
said Director of the Department of Clackamas County, whatever the external title might be. Sorry about that, council members. So anyhow, yeah, it'll be great to see another director. I know the last one I was impressed on hearing some of the languages within our mission statement and other directions. So thanks for that opportunity. All right. Update on the letter of the foster. Any questions? No questions I see with Sarah or Colleen? All right. Kim, good to see you. You don't need to answer, but it's good to see you too. Michaela. All right. Any update on the letter of the program from the program manager from you guys, or should we wait till next week?
Yeah, no, we have an update.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is an update in regards to the abuse registry letter that we gave to Tracy Garrell, our director, who spoke with PGA. And all that was provided in the midst of a whole bunch of strike talks and things happening here at the county, so there was a lot of delay in responding. But essentially, the recommendation from PGA is that this draft letter should actually be sent to. I'll read the guidance. So it can the draft letter could be sent to Mary Rumbaugh, who's the Director of Health, Housing, and Human Services, with recommended actions. The letter can also be sent to the Association of Oregon Community Mental Health Programs, or AOC-MHP, and directed to Cheryl Ramirez and Mary Rumbaugh, who is also the president of AOC-MHP. And it can also be sent to our social service director, Tracy Garrell, with recommendations, or it can be sent to all three, whatever the council decides, and they will make sure it gets to the appropriate advocacy channels. And Tracy can maybe speak to this more when she's here, but when she talked to PGA, they really felt like sharing that letter with other counties was outside of providing guidance and direction to Clackamas County's program in general. So they recommended that the letter start internally with their recommendations, and then if needed, they could assist with elevating it or taking the letter elsewhere. That's the update.
Definitely. Sarah, I have my hand up too. But you go ahead.
May I
Sharon.
get that? May I get a copy of that, just so that I'm happy to send the letter forward to the people that they suggested, but I'll need a copy just to.
Yeah, and you'll probably
Good
need
to
more,
do.
maybe contact info, but what we can do is share with the whole council, you included, because you have the letter.
Okay.
And then you'll probably need some contact info for the folks as well. So, but if that's what if the council agrees on this direction to send it to one or all three of them, then that's where it can go next.
So I only have a question on the Association of Mental Health and what?
Association of Oregon Community Mental Health Programs.
Are
So
there-
AOC MHP.
Okay. Are there any conflicts of interest of either some past members or members to on this council that might be associated to that council or that mental ideal? Because I don't want conflict of interest as a self-advocate.
That's who Donna Lisa is a part of.
That helped me a lot, Kim.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And not to cross certain conflicts. And that's important to me, no matter what the cause is. So thank you.
And it just so happens that Mary Rumbaugh is our Health, Housing, and Human Services Director here and the AOC MHP President. So
Okay.
right now. So
I apologize for calling out Donna Lisa, Kim, but I appreciate that knowledge. Sarah, please, if your hand's still up.
My vote would be all three.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there, my vote is all three.
I would like to propose a motion on the table that we send this updated letter, within all three of the suggested programs that Stacey just mentioned. Any ayes? How many ayes?
all of the above.
All the above, it looks like. All right. Any abstaining or nays? Here none, the motion passes that we send it to the next three. Again, I'm a little
Thank you.
You're welcome. So will be the letter carrier on that one, right? We agreed on that
Yep,
one?
I'd be happy to.
All right. Like I said, I'm a little concerned on 24-hour care and how other organizations will take this on the legislative form, but on this step here, I totally understand the direction, and I think it's the correct direction, give or take a change of opinions later. So thank you very much, or it might be opinions later. I appreciate it. Another thing that really is infuriating as a self-advocate, it's taken a long time. And I appreciate your efforts as a county, but the internal process will take another couple of months to get through as we try to get legislative ideals or how we feel as a county. And I appreciate the update on the cross-county relationships, but we are in a new age. And we do need to communicate with other people sometimes. And having those bylaws are important for the future. Thank you. And thank you for the work on that update too. I really appreciate it. Bruce, does anyone have any other questions on that? All right. Okay. So, it sounds like, I don't know if we have enough members for today. I wish Leo was here also, but that's another question for another time, but the next topic. Next topic is election voting. Executive facilitators. Are we doing the voting today, or are we just trying to get our members today?
We're voting
We're
today.
voting.
Exactly. All right. As I step down from my role in ways of chair so I can be concentrating more on self-advocacy roles, where I only have one more year in my term, if I'm elected for a position, I will not deny it, but I also will try to fulfill my other roles and duties within the advisory council. Sarah Lambert, would you like to put in a nomination of yourself, or would you like someone else to nominate you for chair?
I did put in a nomination for myself via email, so yes.
Anyone on the floor would like to nominate themselves or whatnot for chair position of this advisory council? Okay. No, Bruce, no. Okay. All right. All right. Sounds like people want to vote. Aye. Everyone else on approving that nomination?
Do you need a motion to vote?
I need a motion, yes, I do.
Oh, a motion to approve.
For chair.
Oh, a motion to no. Sarah's.
Awesome. I'll take that as a digital hand signature as a motion. Conversation just happened. I will say on conversation portion of this portion, I would love to see a self-advocate in position of the executive team in ways that they've never had, that's not related to a current council member. But I'm willing to step back because I've had the opportunity the last 3 years on this, but I do think for the future it is important for someone with lived-in experiences like what I've experienced, or even in more cases that would need definitely some support help, but definitely be on the executive side where other organizations that I've seen have moved forward with these types of concepts within the implementation of board or other representation. So I would love that, but for now, where we are, I definitely would call for the vote for now. So now I guess the ayes and yes. Any other conversation spots on chair's position? One more, because of my memory, I apologize. But I also would like to point out how to navigate the chair position, because it's very difficult to know without any bylaws. And again, that bylaw conversation is something that hopefully will move forward in the future as we move this position, because there are definitely some hang-ups that I had to go through where I didn't know if I could or could not, cannot, and Oregon public meeting laws may or may not have been different than the county laws. So thank you. So again, I'll call for the vote now. Sorry to delay you guys. Okay.
So,
I have my hand up for Sharon Lambert.
so for voting, if we want Sarah to be the chair of the council,
Yep.
do you want to raise your hand for a yes?
Okay.
Vote for myself.
Yes, you can. I
Okay.
believe if the bylaws say so.
It's unanimous.
All right, unanimous say. Sharon Lambert.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
I'm getting out of my position.
I promise to do my best. So I've learned a lot over the last year. So thank you for having your confidence in me.
Absolutely. So that means you get to control the rest of the meeting.
Oh, not until next month, John. You're
Yeah.
still here today. This is our
This is
main
your last
meeting.
hurrah.
Yep, this is you, John. Nice try. But we also have to vote
Vice
for
chair.
the vote.
We do need a vice chair on a thing. Any nominations for vice chair that would like from the council members? No. Alrighty.
Vice chair, anyone?
I will nominate myself if no one does it, but the thing
Back up.
is your call.
You're not too
Okay, I nominate you.
All right.
I believe that's also nominated, voluntold is the other word for that.
Well, I was going to say, I'm
Voluntold.
Voluntold.
I like that. Just joking, totally joking.
I can withdraw my nomination on the record and vice hold this position. Should we only put a couple months, or should we go for the whole year for you?
Oh, I'm gonna do the.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. There we
I
go.
don't know what I'm getting this.
There we go.
But you know what you're doing, so I'll follow your lead.
All right. So we got 3 years under our belt. Sounds like we got a nomination here. Like I said, I would love on the conversation portion to point out a self-advocate without relations of the council in ways of executive team, so they can point out that, and we can either do that today for the bylaws, or we can do that hopefully in the near future as chair presents it for this year before I leave my term. So we are. I guess I'm still.
Motion to
I
vote.
thought I got out after the chair thing.
No.
All right. But no, motion to vote. Any other conversation on vice chair? No? I don't see it. All right. Motion to vote. Need a motion for vote.
I motion to vote.
Okay. That was one. Do we have another for? We need one more.
Oh, you need a second?
Yeah.
Yep.
Second.
I know it's reduced, but at least it has some patterns of life. All right. So voting yay or nay?
Yay.
Yeah, that's the only option on the table for right now.
For Chris, for vice chair.
Everyone's hands up.
That's everyone.
All right, there we go.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. And again, thank you, Chris, and you are the vice chair. But again, I would also ask where Lyra is in particular, that one was interested in a position, but because of the situation and me trying not to go rogue on asking other people outside of this, this opportunity, I do think it's important to point out where maybe some of the thing is if one was still interested, but understand that they still have opportunities in the future. All right, we're done. We're done for today. I'm done. No, I'm sorry, guys, for the joke. I'm trying to make it light for the bylaws. All right, update on resource fairs and other opportunities. Well, it's 13 minutes early, maybe.
Yeah, how do we do that? Okay, so the resource fair, we have a lot of community partners coming. And so where we're at now is just trying to plan who is going to be at the fair, at the table for the DD Advisory Council. So did we have, I think you were going to be there, right? Okay.
What's the date on it again?
It's the 21st.
Oh, first. Okay, good.
Yeah, Saturday the 21st. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is the duration of the event. So we'd like to have a couple people at the table. So it doesn't necessarily need to be overlapping. If I don't know if people are interested.
So last year we did 2-hour increments at the table, which is, you want us to be there at 9:30, is that correct? For setup and
you can get there at 9:45. I think it starts at 10, so just some people are going to arrive early, so 9:30 is really best.
okay.
But understanding that you might be waiting around for a little bit.
At 10 o'clock is when people are going to be coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have a table.
You were
there.
going to have
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know how many people are going to be with me at the table.
Yeah.
Totally fair.
So I don't know.
I wouldn't worry.
I can be there from 10 to noon.
Okay, great.
Okay.
I've asked for my official time off, I believe, from the last meeting. Hopefully that will stay.
Yeah.
Bruce, you said 10 to noon, right?
Yeah.
Can anybody else come in from either noon to 2 or 12 to 1 and then 1 to 2? I know Lisa isn't here and she came last year.
I can't commit yet. I'm still waiting about another event that I'm involved with. Maybe later, I'll find out.
Good to hear from you, Colleen.
So, and then I will be there.
So, maybe
Probably the whole time.
you'll be there the whole time. So between the two of you then, that should be okay. And
Yeah,
And if
then
you
I can-
need a breaker coverage,
Yeah.
one of us could help you. Kim or I.
Yeah.
Probably.
or I
Yeah.
can too. I'll be
Yeah.
running around. I can come help for a little bit.
I don't know.
If I can drive by, then I'll try to come but I've got grad parties that afternoon to go to, so I've got to, I can't commit quite yet, but I'll
Totally.
let you guys know.
I hope you have a good
It was
time.
fun last year. It was very fun last year.
I agree.
I hope you have fun at those grad parties. It's important. For me, as I mentioned, I may not be there, but I still would like to put into this portion of raise my hand, on the resource fair to look outside of just the Gregory forum.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's important in ways of doing it. You've done incredible work, Amy, and we've had conversations. But to me, even if it's just a softball field, even if it's beyond just the community field out near the track field, I'm trying to make it fun. Or for me, what I heard from a self-advocacy at Breaking Barriers or other places, the history of rock and roll class. To find some other outside community opportunities within even the opportunities that we have is very important to me in ways of how we navigate when funding becomes stretched and how a community reacts to that type of thing. Again, it's a big accomplishment, definitely in Clackamas County, to put all the resources that we know within our services, but that outside relationship is invaluable as we continue our relationships. Kona Ice, those things do matter in the long stretch of life.
Yes. Unfortunately, they cost money.
No, I understand that, but there are a lot of people
Even
who,
their nonprofit rate is high.
Yeah.
but there are a lot of people who would like to help, but then that second level talk, if it is money or not money, they just want to be respected professionally. And I'm talking about non-DD, related. And they may not be able to, but there's conversation spaces that can be made.
Yeah.
And for that, I maybe can have some of those opportunities, but I do know that it's invaluable as we continue with our services. Thank you. And good luck on that too.
Thank you.
I'll be wishing. All right. And it sounds like we got an appreciation event.
Yes, I think you guys should have all gotten maybe something in the mail, and then the email that I sent out about the volunteer appreciation. So if you can make it, great. I wasn't given a whole lot of information other than what you all got. So if you're interested, certainly go. If you're able.
I think I was planning on checking it out.
Is it kind of an open house thing? I can't remember now what it said.
I have to look back at it honestly. I'm not sure.
Okay.
It wasn't part of the planning, and so I'm not really sure. You guys might have more information than me at this point.
I can't remember the email.
Also, it doesn't look like there's a program update on here. I don't know if you guys wanted one. I think we talked about. I don't know. But.
Yeah, I will.
Right now, right while you look.
Probably
Okay.
before we get into the rest of this stuff. I feel like it's usually at the top, unless you get John. It's your meeting. You're the
Yeah,
chair, so-
actually, I just forgot that I don't think we approved the agenda.
We did.
We did? All right, thank you for reminding me, short-term issues. I don't see bylaws in here, and that's why it kind of got me on it, but maybe we...
Yeah, I don't either.
We
I know,
move
I
on.
don't either, which.
I'm not sure.
Then maybe we can do
Everything on-
a retract on
Well, no, we
that.
were just trying to streamline it,
Oh,
and then
that's
we were
right.
going to talk about it. and
Email
then-
does not work for me on that conversation, so
So-
that's why.
Maybe adjust. I
Um,
know we have this schedule, but maybe do a
That's
program
what we
update
can
and then mention these, and then bylaws. If that makes sense for folks.
Can we retroact and then we keep on the record what we just said, and then include bylaws within the approved agenda, and continue on with the agenda that we have in front of us? Do I hear any objection? Hopefully that will be approved as said verbally, where we continue this conversation. I hear no objection. Local please.
I just.
Yeah.
was
Sorry to get us.
And
I'm trying to get it.
and Malika put something in the chat. I pulled up the information on that volunteer appreciation. If anybody.
Okay, please let's continue the meeting with volunteer appreciation as we approve the bylaws where we can place them without continuing the agenda.
Okay. So it says the date and time. So Thursday, June 26th, in this building, actually at 9 a.m., room 115. It does say for questions or to RSVP to email the email that you got in the email. Sorry. So it sounds like you need to RSVP to go. And then it just says food, drinks, raffle prizes, plenty of time to connect with other social services volunteers. It doesn't say anything about, like open house, come in or go.
I think
you
it
have to
is at
show
right
up.
at 9.
Yeah. And it doesn't have an ending time, so I think it might just kind of be come and see what's happening and stay, as long as they have it open. So it is pretty open-ended.
And that's for the public. Volunteers are all Clackamas County programs? That event for? Or is it just DD services?
No, it's for
Social services.
social service. All social.
All of social services for those in the public for 2025.
It says 9 to 11.
Oh,
So
it does
there's
say
also
that. Okay.
there's also a SurveyMonkey link that you can register on. I'll put that information in the chat also. So you should have. I think you should have received the invite in your email, and then I believe they were also mailing you something via snail mail. USPS.
Right. I hear typing. I'm wondering if more time needs to be.
Program update and.
Trying to update them for getting there.
Yeah, so that's what Malika just said, including program update
I
and
see.
inserting bylaws on agenda. So
On the chat.
program update would be.
Program update? Okay, well, let's see.
Thank you.
And we were gonna keep our program updates brief because of the bylaw discussions taking longer, but one of the primary updates we want to share with you today, and we'll put her on the spot a moment, but so we've been hiring for several positions with our program, one of them being our quality assurance supervisor position that's going to oversee our program's quality assurance activities, our policies, our service equity assessment and plan, our privacy and security, and our support of this council. Amy Butler has been offered this position, so hopefully you can congratulate Amy along with us. She does a lot more than what shows up here on this particular meeting for our program, and so she starts with us on
Monday.
Monday, June 9th, a week from today. So, and quality assurance oversight is one of the primary functions of this council as well. And we're just now lifting some very intentional in-house efforts around quality assurance activities for our program. And Amy's going to be leading us through those efforts. And it's going to take feedback and input from all of you as well. And anyway, we're really excited about the opportunity. So that's the update I thought you might be most interested in. Outside of that, we're watching the legislative session continue and waiting to hear about our budget. And so, in terms of program stuff, we don't know a whole lot about what comes next, but we're just sort of waiting to hear. Kim, do you have anything?
No, apologies for not being able to be on my regular screen. I'm on my phone. Other than you have a new ONA team supervisor.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, in fact, I almost brought her today, but she hasn't. We were sure enough. So we did hire. We hired an ONA supervisor, and Chelsea Curo, who was our longest tenured assessor here, and she started in April with a new children's supervisor, Nikki Linscott. I think I might have given that update last time. But then we are hiring 3 new assessors, and so that announcement I haven't made to the team yet, so I'm not going to make it here, but will happen this week. But there's we do have an internal assessor who has been a temp, who was supposed to be part-time, but actually working full-time, Jackie McNeil, and she's moving into a permanent ONA assessor position. And then we're bringing on 2 new assessors as well, starting one of them on Monday, one of them next Wednesday. So, and I can share names and more information, and we'll probably invite them to meet you all as our new hires as they start. And then Kim is recruiting for an adult in-home supervisor. So yeah. we've been in constant hiring and recruitment. So, and thank you for those of you who have been able to sit on interview panels. Your input is extremely valuable. And it's a commitment. I know it's a huge commitment, so thank you for those of you who have already done it and those of you who may do it in the future. So, yeah, we appreciate you.
Yeah, unfortunately, some people are not getting paid for that, but hopefully,
No,
if others claim hours within workday or other ideals, hopefully there'll be an opportunity for equal employment than just shelter workshop type ideals. Not by the county, but by the language of the law and who represents those budgetary considerations. All right, but it was great to see that. It's great that it happened before my term ended.
Yes.
I appreciate it, as I want to push with Sasha in ways of how she pushed it also at the time, but also understands the internal process, and I appreciate how we move forward within my term limit as we continue that conversation. So thank you. Any way that we can help, I would love to hear. At least still not chair, but chair. All right. The thing about quality point person of the council, are we still having Amy be that, or is it going to be more?
Well, I mean, that we're lifting up a whole work unit. So Amy is right now the point person, and
Okay.
if that changes, she will let you know.
All right.
She'll be
You're not going to
involved.
get rid of me that
She
easily,
will
John.
be
I'm not trying to get
involved.
rid of you.
So-
I'm trying to find how the boundaries. It helps to know where the fence posts are.
But we will have positions to hire within that work unit as well. So,
Understand.
yeah.
All right. And within the $750 million deficit, question mark of self-advocacy wise, not chair wise, how are we navigating that conversation within the percentage, 10% cuts that may have been given to the departments, and how we may or may not have conversations within that?
Well, I mean, I don't.
I'm not aware of any cuts.
Yeah.
At this point, sorry, Stacey.
No, go
No,
for
please,
it.
Kim.
Go ahead, Kim.
Your wisdom is important.
At this point, we're not aware of any cuts. My understanding is they're putting forward and pushing for continuing service level.
Okay.
And so continuing service level though doesn't allow for any anything for the growth, right?
Okay.
So continuing service level is funding for the forecast, but not for any extra growth. So we're being funded, all services funded for whatever they were being funded at, specifically if speaking for case management and the CDDP.
All right.
We're not getting we won't be fully funded, so we're currently funded at 86%. So we'll continue to be funded at 86%.
Okay.
Of what, so that's not full funding, that's 86% of full funding. And then is 86% of the funding model, and that's what they consider continuing service level.
Yeah.
So we're 86% of continuing service level and no room for growth.
Yeah.
So,
And no cost of living increase, right?
well, for whom? For us?
For program employees.
No.
Okay. And then I guess the other question on my side, please, I'm sorry. On my side would be, though it's very, very, not very quite yet, but in the next couple of months, have you had any conversation about a special session and budget reconsiderations within the county?
Special sessions.
Of the legislators in ways of September, October, November.
No, we haven't had any conversations.
And just for the public, I do not know of anything, but I want to make sure, since the federal budget's being reconsidered, that I am staying on top of it as self-advocate, trying to find out the budget consideration with the county. Thank you.
Yeah.
They have a different fiscal year.
Yeah, we're good. We got that. All right, that's program update. Now we're hitting closer to time. Do we want to talk about real quickly the self-advocacy stuff, or do you want to go through bylaws? I think bylaws are important right now. We can maybe end it to at least a general update at the end. Do you have any objections? Okay. And I don't know who can pull up the bylaws because I need.
Sarah, did you have that in your?
I have what we all had discussed via the email thread, but I can't pull up bylaws.
Okay. We haven't. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe you guys can talk about it for a minute.
Like I said, I know I was going to forget when I wrote it down, even though I spent 2.5 hours writing.
So as I say, and I have them in front of me, but not.
Thank you for your patience out to the public if they are watching. And and thank you, Amy, for your clicking fingers. I will wear my glasses. I apologize for the glare. I do need to see.
Okay, so this doesn't have any updates that you guys all agreed
No.
on over emails?
No.
So,
Well, we started, we'd approved up to voting in our last meeting. And so that's where we started in our email chain.
okay, so we're, let's see if I can.
What section are we on? Because we approved on a lot of stuff. Not a lot of it.
Right there.
Right there.
Right here, voting?
Yes, that's where we started. Because I believe we'd approved up to that point.
Yeah.
Okay,
In our
so
last
this,
meeting. So
in,
this is where we
No,
started in
that
the
makes
email.
sense.
so this is where we, sorry, so you, over email, you approved up until this point?
We started on right here at voting and then went through the rest of the bylaws
Yeah.
via email. So I'll just kind of run through. I heard from half of the members. So on voting, Colleen had approved, Anne approved, Chris approved, Sarah S. approved, and I approved.
I did have some concerns recently. Have you been able to read it in the last couple of hours?
I actually didn't get an email on
Okay,
voting.
so this is where my stuff was, if I can remember my email correctly. It was as needed or something like that. Was there not a concern on as needed or is that another portion, other voting portion?
That was on
like I said.
the meetings. That was on
No,
number 3.
I got you. I'm gonna have to go public record on this, which I hate. This is why I kind of get overwhelmed and it gets a little bit easier.
And then Bruce,
Yeah.
did you?
I thought I had. I couldn't remember which ones I had read over. I read over all of them. I just don't remember which ones. If I missed saying per, I don't have a problem with that language.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I hope that it did work. I was trying to keep it as plain and simple and organized as possible. I
No,
know
you did a
it can
good
be
job.
really tough with that. And breaking them up each into individual emails. And then I tried not to really reply so I didn't kind of clutter it up, the thread. But this was just to kind of give the council a heads up, a way to kind of soak it in, read it, and then be prepared to vote on these sections today to either approve or to change them as needed. And so, John, I haven't
Yeah.
heard from Lisa, Lyra, and which are the only 2 members that aren't here right now. And then John and Bruce, you guys, if you have any adjustments, and Bruce, you said you didn't. So John, it would just be.
Yeah, right now I'm in the minority, but the problem that I'm really having is that when we adapt 2005 language within a bylaws conversation, you are adapt to repeat history in some ways. And so just because I don't have it for now, my notes, even though I have a couple of points here with bylaws, and all that type of thing, like amendments and other things, it gets in overwhelming and trying to get through that conversation.
The notes that I had, John, from you,
Yes.
would you like me to read it?
What time did I send that timestamp wise? Maybe I can do it privately while being on public record.
Oh, I don't know. I just copy and pasted it to my conversation.
Sorry. And I apologize again, but it sounds like I did make an opinion on that.
I didn't get your opinion on number one. I got your opinion on officers and.
All right, let's continue on then. If there's nothing on voting, I can approve as is, but I do worry about, like I said, the self-advocacy portion of it, where they may or may not be totally reviewed on topics of what they're voting for, and how county, at least what I've experienced, county services have really helped me understand the proximity of what we're voting sometimes.
On the voting one, it looks like the only one, unless you got just directly emailed, was Sarah.
No, I did not. Okay, so thank you. That helped me a lot.
Who said anything about this particular portion, the voting?
No, we're good.
But I had the general consensus that she approved.
Yes.
General consensus, it's been approved, but I do worry about history by all means.
And we could vote on it right now.
We can vote it right now. Let's go for it.
So, do I need to call for a vote on the voting, John?
Yeah, we'll call for a vote if I didn't respond to that one in particular. And that was Article 4.
Article 5.
5, all right. Then what's the articles that we had that was emailed in ways of...
This was the start of it. She started on her.
Yeah, I got you. Hopefully I got the right one, everybody, on representation. This is what happens sometimes. So I'm going to, call for a vote.
I call for a vote on Article 5 voting to approve it as it is written.
I second.
So, do we want to vote?
All in favor of keeping the text as is for Article 5 voting. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah.
And that's opposed to not knowing what notes I made. And you said there were no notes for it, so I
didn't
appreciate
receive
it.
it on
We're
the
fine.
Okay. So then, moving to the second email that I had sent out, which was for officers. I don't know does anybody need me to read it, or are we okay? Because
This is where I think I was suggesting including.
You did.
I did remark on this. I do have it.
So then the notes that I have here, as far as any adjustments, I had notes where it was just some of the verbiage where it says on here, the DD Council officers will meet an additional time prior to the DD Council meeting. I just wanted to clarify that it was one additional time monthly and not more than that, just to make it a little bit more clear for the officers to know their commitment levels. And that was my only input that I had on that to be voted for. And then John,
I think on officers it would include a self-advocate not related to current council member members' term limits. Meaning, that's not related while they're in the thing. And then other subcommittee questions within leadership teams and officers' role, as well as service-related discussions. This approach may ensure more comprehensive participation rather than relying solely on external agency supports. So again, on officers, if I got the right place, which is hard to know because they are, conflicting places, but it would be nice to add a self-advocacy as an officer in ways, and then I have one more point of conversation.
So are you saying then there need to be 3 positions as officer, or
well,
the self-advocacy should always be one of the 2?
I think I think it should be in that so because it should be a 2-to-1. I personally think it should be a 2-to-1, if it was the chair and co-chair, but I also believe their voices is important. But it's a good point, and I appreciate it. But for now, until another self-advocacy can pick up that language, I can understand county-wise that language. Does the county have any, those our decision, any objections to that in ways of things that need to be thought about?
My only concern is just it's been challenging to get a self-advocate into the council and retain a self-advocate. So
maybe as I'm with you where it should not be an automatic position if it's just one person. It should be voted by a community consensus to a point. But I do believe.
I think if they run, a self-advocate runs for the position and they're in the office. If not, they're not. They're just another member.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be a requirement.
Yeah. Yeah, because there are some self-advocates that just like to take the last term of the year, and be in that position too. I mean, I just want to make sure that we're not going, like I said, 2005 language where others have those post positions where they may or may not have had that voice because we are approving the language of the past where the future may come. That's the biggest thing about officers that really come. And then I did have one more conversation space. I don't know if we can add that there, but I would like to add that there in ways that they can be part of the executive team or officer team.
Well,
Sorry.
I just I don't-
If presented on a council.
I think the way it's written, though, if they wanted to be nominated or nominate themselves for either one of the executive positions, it would be open.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
So
the problem is that, at least on my self-advocacy position outside of conflict of interest, is that I'm holding 9 different voices. And in many spaces, sometimes even 1 out of 200 people. Mm-hmm. And that, to me, is very difficult to navigate in conversation. And I'm not saying for me to be in that position, but because I do know that having the education outside, but some self-advocates, they're so under the pressure of other people that I don't know if they can even comprehend, oh, I can be in that position, or I can be an officer, or I can be, and how can we communicate that disparity where the history has not shown itself fully without, someone who's been there or done that.
So correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, please.
But your concern is that you want it written in here somewhere where all council members, including self-advocacy, can apply to be an officer?
Absolutely. Maybe in the process, maybe even call, yearly or when these positions or self-advocates can apply. That can be a first step that I can concede towards in ways of the language today. So what I'm trying to point out is on the opposite language where it says chair meeting report functions, chairs absent and the council meets in additional time. And maybe we're not in the right voting area. Maybe that language can be pushed down to somewhere else. But that language is most important for an officer role in ways to try to point someone to those opportunities.
Well, I feel like if we're doing our job as a council, we would make sure that every member knew that opportunity was open to them.
Yeah.
I don't know if that culturally was there yet, though, and that's what really makes me worry. With other people that I know of, they always take behind, and we do need support staff by all means, but it doesn't mean that they cannot take that lead on that position. And because of that, it's very hard to navigate the possibilities sometimes. And I've been lucky to know where my defaults were as an officer and how much help it is and needed, even with other conversations I'll have later. But I do not know if other people with disabilities who are in a disability role can really say, hey, I can be in that executive meeting. And that's what I'm trying to point out for this. I can stand down a little bit, but I do wish there could be it might be in the voting section of the bylaws, but I do wish there was an officer position or opportunity for a self-advocate if they are on the council and have been approved by the council. Because I do sympathize with the demand of people, who usually try to, go into these positions, definitely in certain parts of town, but
I think we've been pretty successful so far at making sure everybody had an opportunity to be a chair or vice chair.
yeah. I think we have on who has been before certain other members, but I don't know if future members would. And that's what I don't know about.
Well, and I hear exactly what you're saying, John, but also to the other side, if we put some verbiage in there it might make future self-advocates think they have to be an officer. And it might even discourage them from wanting to be part of the council.
I said on record what I needed to say. Unfortunately, it may or may not be like finding, all these, right away. It may or may not be presented, but I do think it is important. But I have another conversation space I need to put on whatever the officer position is. So it sounds like the language of self-advocacy, because of the lack of self-advocates on this type of ideal, is going to be posted down. But I would also consider conversations on members' gifts, roles, and other procedural matters with future representation of chair and co-chair roles. It was very hard to know what to do with Oregon public meeting laws, county laws, and I do think officers, taking. I did not take gifts, I hope, and whatnot, but it was very hard to navigate those conversations back and forth from the county, to see what was, going on a parade at the Junior Road Festival. Could I walk on behalf of the Clackamas County Advisory Council, even though there might be other members with me? That's not a quorum, and so it's those type of decisions that I would like to point out how we navigate these type of conversations, because we are going to have conflict of interest, and there will be, ways of how, people will navigate the title into maybe an outside resource where I've already pointed out one to the co-chair, and then another organization taking over those causes. So I do want to point out there should be language on how we maneuver those opportunities outside, where it should be a role inside Clackamas County. I should have said allegedly for the professional record.
I'm not sure where that would fit in.
Because there will be conflict of interest within our titles of co-chair and chair while we maneuver other community partners, officer-wise.
Like if you're saying if somebody is an officer in this council and being an officer in another?
No, what I'm saying is that there might be gifts or other opportunities to talk to people of power in ways of using our title allegedly, and I think it should be on officers accounted for when and if that type of action happens within an official role within the whole council. But that was my other note in ways, because it is hard to navigate Salem in particular when you're given tickets and when you're given other things in life. And like I said, I deferred them, but I do point out that if someone accepts those types of things, conflict of interest may or may not go in the future. And it's very hard to navigate, definitely in the role, because even when mentioning it on testimony, I am a part of that does put on public record a precedent that it's a Clackamas County view sometimes. And even navigating my own testimony, has been hard to navigate those rules as an officer.
So that sounds like something that would be, we'd probably have to discuss offline maybe.
That's why
a specific situation, if something came up, because there are some rules, and you guys should have those in the new member orientation packet, but we can go over those.
It's just those type of things that just make it a little hard to navigate, in this conversation today, while having email thing, because they are real. They are now the future.
And that can be part of a training or orientation. I don't know that it needs to be in bylaws.
Yeah.
We can put it in the
Or
manual.
addressed in that way.
Okay. So, yep.
So for
What
officers,
section are we on, and are we at a voting?
Yes, Article 6 officers.
Okay.
And so,
Sounds like we're going to go with the old language, which is fine.
You had a concern at the very,
The second
something at the
paragraph.
very beginning.
the,
I forgot, sorry.
yeah,
No.
thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Bruce.
Oh, it's the
Just-
second paragraph.
yeah,
One-
second paragraph.
One
where
additional
it's,
time. Is that what it was?
Per month.
One additional time, just to make it a little more clear, if the council agrees that works.
They will have permission to go if there's an emergency 2
It
times.
says, so under, I believe that says it under subcommittees.
All right,
that,
we're in
the officers
the
can
same
create,
conversation
like
space.
an extra.
I just want to make sure, knowing, some emergencies may happen,
Yes.
that power is understandable at least twice of the language.
I mean, if we don't need it, we don't
Okay,
need
that's
it.
fine.
It was just a thought.
Just
Instead of
assume.
12, we can assume.
One additional time prior to.
Can we maybe want can meet, or do you want meet?
Well,
Or
we have to
will,
meet.
we have
so
to
we will.
meet at least
So-
one time.
There you go.
You can say we'll meet at least one additional time if you're thinking that.
Yeah,
we-
one additional time prior to
Yeah.
our council meetings to discuss.
I don't think we've ever had to meet more than once.
We haven't, but I mean, and we could leave it the way it was. I just thought maybe we should be more specific.
And I could say I could have used an extra side meeting
Yeah.
just to clarify some of the rules, because it was very difficult to know what was, what you can say or not to say to council members only or yourself.
And I think that having an orientation packet now, which we didn't have, John, when we joined,
Okay.
would have probably helped. And it
All
would
right.
have given an avenue to ask all those questions
All right.
in front.
Yeah.
And so I think moving forward, that is a good thing
All right.
that is happening.
All right.
I
I can vote for the language, guys. Like I said, I came from two different worlds. I can go the self-advocacy way, where I can think that way, or I can think as a community member and be in the hallway of the way of life. I mean, both of them are appealing.
So does anybody object to any changes for the officers article?
No.
No, okay, so then I move to vote on Article 6 officers as it stands currently.
Second.
Bruce seconds, so then,
So all in favor of keeping or approving the language Article 6 officers, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
I'm a little hesitant on the self-advocacy side, but on the community side, I can understand the language of the older side.
okay. All right, so then Article 7, meetings.
Yep.
John, you had input on that.
Yeah.
And so did Sarah.
Yeah, this is the one this is the one that everyone approved.
No,
making
actually-
it almost quorum, and I don't blame any new member for the record. But this is the one that kind of got me in saying this is why you need to have a conversation rather than just email approval conversations.
And actually, John,
Yeah, like,
Sarah and
Yeah.
and I, we both agreed that we needed to add
Yeah.
a new meeting schedule in here
Yeah.
because this is the old,
yeah,
and so it doesn't have when we meet. So Sarah and I both pulled up that should be changed.
Yeah,
and we
we're
should have
good.
Our current schedule in.
we're good. But this is where I can also understand if we did do it the old way, even nowadays, why people would leave or perceive things will go faster in ways of procedures and stuff like that. So media role or whatever, I can totally understand certain things and frustrations, wishing there was more connections like coffee hours or like meeting office hours or whatever it was that I tried for the first couple of months. Thank you for changing it. And again, do we have someone that wants to call for a vote on that? I just want to make sure that I did everything I could
Discussion stuff.
for the record.
Yeah, we still needed to change it.
Yeah.
So
Thank
it
you.
looks like a couple of you mentioned, like you were saying. So I think the rule, or the Oregon Administrative Rule, says quarterly. So I think that's where it came out. That's like the bare minimum.
Okay.
So that's where that quarterly came from,
Yeah.
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
But we did find out that county rules from upstairs may have had a different language that made it 6 or 8, but I might be wrong.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, because that was a difficult positioning.
I guess my only concern is in previous year, didn't we vote to change that? Because it says, as determined by majority vote of the council to achieve its purpose.
Yes, we did.
So we voted,
We voted to change it. Yeah.
But it
to
hasn't
be
been
more
changed.
than quarterly.
Yes. So no, I'm not saying we shouldn't change it. I'm just saying that's where
That's
the
where
court came from.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, perfect. So then we just need to change it then to what we had previously voted for?
And can we do that now? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Quarterly was the minimum, 8 times was the maximum, 8 times was what we were doing. And, like when I first started 10 years ago, and so it was, so we need to find either end of the spectrum or a happy medium.
So I guess the question then is, do we need to change that?
I would suggest and advise yes, because then you'll give the county more leeway to maybe do less meetings in the future, maybe, unless we don't change it in the bylaws.
Sarah, oh yeah.
Sarah?
I would change it, because if that's what it is now, then I would make it clear what it is now. But the question is, do we say meet 8 times a year, or do we say meet 8 times a year, excluding, the months that we're off?
Hands up. I would say just 8 times a year, because like what happened with this foster care thing, where we did something like in June or July, had 2 months off, September, maybe November, and then 2 months off. I think if you say those 2 months, it could actually save the chair too. I might go for that, sir. No, I'm just wondering, preferences.
If you get too specific,
Yeah.
then if you want to make changes
Exactly.
to your schedule, you have to go back and do this again.
Yeah.
Thank you,
That's the
Bruce.
issue.
And
That's true.
That's
Thank you,
where
Brenda.
to take you, Bruce.
So I think just saying 8 times a year and just leaving that like that.
And we need to probably say subject to
You
change.
also, are you meaning to say just 8 times or to leave it as is?
I've done some of these before, and my baseline is usually to leave things with wiggle room as much as possible, because then you don't have to go back and make changes again. And then it can be, this year schedules were so nuts that we could only meet 5 times.
Yeah.
Well, could it say up to 8?
I think
Up to eight.
up to
Sure.
8 can be a
That would be good.
compromise
Because
of
what
where
if
we are
have
culturally.
Something occurs and we have to cancel, like
Right,
a
exactly.
weather
Something happens and
event
you
or
can't
a
do it, you're
whatever.
missing
so.
a meeting.
I just don't want it. I just don't want culturally, unless it's really 4 times a year, and everything. I don't want culturally to lose that ground where there was something in mind with a member and with us as a council, where it was such a struggle just to get it to 5 times a year with a policy update, and then it went to 8, and then, I kind of stand down from my thought. It was a major, not struggle, but it was a major effort.
Just to clarify, the council meets up to 8 times per year, but minimally, we have to do quarterly. for the OAR.
So we're always going to have to follow the OAR regardless,
Yeah.
right?
It's a
So
minimum of quarterly.
So we could say council will meet quarterly, and then can we put in parentheses up to 8 times or maximum 8 times?
No, I would
or
keep it
the
hard
council meet
language.
up to 8 times per year, comma, minimally quarterly, as determined by, or I don't know. If we even do we have to put that in those things in OAR?
I think it's important to point out that Clackamas County like a direction of 8 times a year. OAR, we'll follow OARs, but Clackamas County Council.
Well, I guess if you are meeting up to 8 times, you will
8
get
times a
quarterly,
year.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
that would be
yeah, we have to. Unless you want 4 months off, then
And
it
no
would have to
more
go
than
to the bylaws
8
later.
times per year.
Yeah, no more than that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we? Okay, I see. Yes, okay. That I can agree. That took a lot of work.
Because to allow for break. Because it's been down, like the third paragraph, it says, will provide options for respite and transportation consistent, So if you have 4 months off, guarantee that is providing options for respite.
Yeah.
Can you clarify options for respite,
I don't know.
please? Wasn't sure what that meant in this context.
Because I think in the past, at least And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not. Oh, I didn't take services till much later in my life, but my guess could be that people's situations were so severe. That's the language that they knew. What is today's language?
It says consistent with county policy.
My guess is that it means like if you need to miss a meeting,
Yeah, because there's something.
you need to take a break
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
They can't say
They-
you're not on the council.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how I understand it, but I could be wrong.
I
don't
think
know
that's
how
that's how I took it because I think somewhere it says like you have to attend so many meetings, right?
Yeah.
Yes, or you can be asked
Yeah.
to not be part.
Okay, thank you.
I do think there should be accountability on meetings. People miss them. But this is for.
Does anybody else have any other input or suggestions for this one?
Did we?
I mean, I get we have life, but I do think there should be limits in some ways. But I don't want to push on something that I'm already.
Does that sound okay to you guys?
Fine.
I do think it's good to, in thinking about future members, when we talk about what the commitment to the council looks like, I do think it's good to have that we're meeting up to 8 times per year right now. So even though we're only required, we know what our requirements are, but currently we're actually meeting 8 times per year. So I do think for future members, it might be helpful to know what it actually, how long we're actually meeting, when we're actually meeting.
And personally, I would love to see some responsibility on. Amy, how many updates have you gotten from other members that say they're going to miss? Are they consistently, the ones like today or the other ones, are they consistently contacting you on the missing? Because I think it should be chair and whoever may be in this position should report if they do know that they're going to be missing at least 2 days beforehand, unless it's a big medical emergency.
Yeah, I think we're getting less notifications about when people are going to be out.
Yeah, because they got the excuse to do it. Why not? Or another reason.
When we talk about,
If it was me, it would be an excuse not to do it.
I was just looking at that, what you're talking about, as far as like missing meetings, and it does say in term of office. It says council members are expected, we've already approved this part, but council members are expected to attend meetings regularly. If a member fails to attend any 3 meetings in succession without cause, that position will be considered vacant and a new member will be selected as outlined elsewhere.
But I appreciate that reminder. It helps me a lot. It does.
I had to go look back also.
It helps. Well, it's hard because I don't have it, and it's just very difficult with the accommodations I need sometimes.
But with that,
But-
you usually reach out.
With that, if somebody's missing several meetings,
Because we got two right now on one member.
we're missing 1, 2.
I know, but we got 2 meetings in a row with one member, and I just
That's correct.
making
They've
sure.
been in communication. Well,
Listen.
today they were.
So, can we call to approve
Yeah.
the Article 7 meetings?
Thanks for taking my concerns on those. Thanks for taking my concerns on most of that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I call to vote on Article 7 meetings to approve them as it is read right now. Second.
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 All right.
All in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Approved.
For future consideration, I would include commissioners too later on, but it's okay. On inviting
On the last
commissioners.
paragraph.
Yeah, in the last paragraph, but we've already voted for it.
Okay. So then Article 8, subcommittees.
Yeah, this one I have difficulties, and I apologize. I had a whole email perfectly laid out, and it just got kaput. So, I do think, let me see.
So Anne had input on this one, and so did Sarah.
Thank you.
Sarah, do you want to share your input?
Well, mine is more just seconding what Ann said, that as needed could use a qualifier on there. Let me look at where it is. And as needed, she just thought that that read a little bit odd to her, so she suggested a qualifier saying as needed for, and I don't have the email right in front of me, sorry.
Yeah.
But it's very minor detail, but hers was just if you added the qualifier, it'd be more clear.
In the second.
So she said either drop it or add and as needed to prepare for council meeting.
What am I missing as needed? What am I missing that's going to prevent if we take that out or not take it out? Because to me, it's important to have as needed because it might become something real quick. What am I missing?
Right, then I would leave it in and add the extra little bit that Ann said. That's just my opinion.
It's so
You guys can differ,
No,
but that's
sure.
just my opinion.
No, I just trying
The
to
full
figure.
sentence was, add an as needed. As needed on the second sentence seems odd. Either need to drop it or add a qualifier like, quote, and as needed to prepare for council meetings, or to say what the as needed is for, essentially.
So down here it says the chair, based on DD council recommendation, may create other subcommittees as deemed necessary to implement the objectives and purposes of the DD council and carry out its directives. So I feel like you could probably just drop that because you're already saying they're going to meet prior to the council meeting for the agenda, and then down here you're saying they're also going to meet as needed.
Yeah, but we do need subcommittees. I mean, at least availability for the future, I believe. And I don't know how to get around that, knowing that I have other concerns, even though there's no subcommittee right now, and people may not see future.
Actually, I feel like as needed is okay.
It
But that's
does. It
just
does
my
read weird
opinion.
And
to me.
a bounce up when you were talking about officers, it was they're meeting one time before the meetings to set the agenda. And you mentioned the chair based on the council's recommendation
Time
to
based.
create other subcommittees as deemed necessary to implement. I think that covers what's happening there. And I don't know. I work in a different context for meetings, but I don't know if the subcommittee will meet prior to each council meeting. I don't know if that disallows you from having email conversations with other people on the talking about agenda items and things like that. It's just saying that you got
Still very hard.
there will be one meeting to set the agenda. That doesn't limit conversations
Right.
that you're having with others, especially it's not difficult to set a meeting when it's two people.
Yeah.
So it's whatever
And
the council would like.
I think subcommittee is the unneeded portion. Is that only for chair and co-chair? Am I hearing that, or is that for subcommittees as a whole?
Well, right now it's just standing subcommittee is the executive committee.
Okay.
That's just chair and co-chair.
Because honestly, there's 3 subcommittees I can see happening in the future, and one being self-advocacy, obviously.
Sure.
But what I'm trying to point out is that I think as needed dates and time based as needed might be something to consider because then
Makes sense. Sorry, John.
no, you're good. If I just want to make sure that people who have a subcommittee can make a meeting when they need to, as needed, in ways of the language that it is. That's the most important. If I'm misreading it, or trying to figure out the language, I apologize for taking this time.
No, those committees meeting as needed is fine, but right now those first 2 lines is talking specifically about the executive committee.
Right.
Chair,
I
and
see.
co-chair.
I agree with
So I
that.
just-
That meets
yeah.
once to set the agenda and
Yes.
talks
Okay.
in between meetings if they need to.
Because I do not think.
So I think just take out the as.
Yes, I agree.
I think that if the chair approves whoever the subcommittee leader is, or the council, that'll be great. And thanks for again.
So if we take this out, this subcommittee will meet once we set it above already, but once prior to each council meeting to set the agenda.
That makes sense.
Just to
And
set the
then-
agenda.
Yes,
No,
and
I-
then down below is
Down
where,
below is talking about.
Subcommittees.
More, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that just makes it kind of clear as to the expectation of the executive committee to meet.
And then being on the executive side of this, it would be nice to know when people come to a subcommittee, what their role may be or potentially may be in the future. As someone, because it's hard to read when a student of policy comes in to know exactly where they're going to take the subcommittee meeting notes and how it's going to be forwarded without the council's, preview.
Well, and I found it interesting where it says subcommittee members do not need to
I was
be
just
full
reading that.
voting members of the DD Council, which is very interesting. So in the future, if the council chooses to create like a larger subcommittee, they don't have to be voting members.
No, and I agree with that, but I would love to know who those members and what their role may be as an executive of this type of committee.
I think that would be for.
That's going to be created as you create the.
That's,
But it needs to be in the
Yeah.
bylaws so it can be done. County doesn't do anything unless it's in bylaws. Almost, maybe, potentially, allegedly.
Oh, Malika.
Malika.
Hand raised.
For just so I just want to clarify. So, John, when you're wanting to know the
Yeah.
what a subcommittee member might bring to that subcommittee, are you
When I
looking
do
to
something,
that as-
I do things in different
as
roles.
like a qualifier to them being part of that
Not
subcommittee?
just being a part, they can be there as self-advocate, but I would like to know if they have a role like being a student of a policies team or being a executive member of, I'm not there, but the Oregon Resource Association. It would be nice to know where they are outside of pronouns and stuff. It would be nice to know where they are so I know what the heck direction they're doing at a subcommittee as they can freely be there. And I might be wrong. I can stand down on this a little bit, but I just know, seeing what I've seen in my life so far, it does help knowing where they are in the conversation space, even with myself.
I think that's fair, but I would also say that could lead to potential discriminatory feelings.
Okay.
And so maybe that's something that
qualify.
that person could disclose. It doesn't have to be in the
Doesn't have to.
bylaws. I think we could,
Put it
when
into
you're
the.
putting the subcommittees together, that could be questions that are asked, like what's your motivation behind wanting to be a part of this or something, but I don't know that putting it in.
I wish that we can at least go on it and say that to encourage whoever makes the subcommittee that language, but I don't know how to present it. Thank you.
Well, and also, John, the subcommittee doesn't have any voting power. They have to just bring their findings back to the council, and then the council gets to accept or reject.
I understand. But it's just, to me, even as chair, I could have, had a subcommittee of those office hours and there was coffee hours in Wilsonville or in wherever, but the problem was I didn't know how to maneuver that type of concept where there was no second vote on a major council. And that too is important because major council is the ones that are taking not full responsibility, but taking that information. And so it's trying to maneuver those type of opportunities for the future without trying to just do myself, me, I, opportunities as chair or as in life, which is, this is a council that we're supposed to keep in-house, not whatever we want, whatever cause we want.
well, but if a subcommittee is being formed for a particular topic or something, there's different reasons why you form the subcommittee.
Yeah.
You would probably want input from different thoughts and ideas, right?
Mhm.
And so then they would bring all that back, and then the council would vote on, like you were saying, whether to accept or reject that.
So I said what I need to say. I would love for some maneuvers for subcommittees and responsibilities, but it sounds like we're not at that time. Am I hearing that right? which is fine.
It might be challenging to outline all the potential uses of a subcommittee and all the rules that we'd
We
want
don't
to
have time today, I know we don't, but but I will say, when you guys hit issues, there's gonna be issues. And I want to be as protective as possible, because I know when we did bylaws on the self-advocacy side with the self-advocacy that I know of, it saved one's butt in some of the details within it.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
I think that it's not, to your point, John, we can set parameters, but we're not going to be able to put every eventuality in bylaws.
Mm-hmm.
And the bylaws are just a structure.
Totally
So
understand.
I think that, we've identified that we can create subcommittees and we can set parameters when we're ready to create subcommittees.
I
So
understand.
I
Let's
think
continue
it's
on with the
important.
meeting.
I think it's important that we move on.
I understand that.
So does anybody else have anything else to add to Article 8 subcommittees?
I apologize. I should have said something when I was looking at the email. I just don't. The executive committee made up of all officers will act on behalf of the DD Council as necessary. What's that mean?
Where are you at?
And why is it
underlined.
Underlined.
I don't know why it's
Oh,
underlined.
yeah.
And nothing else in the whole thing is underlined. Do you know
I
why
don't know.
it is?
That's where history helps us.
No.
I think maybe some people like I said, I don't want to be interpreting this, but on public records, it just sucks. But when I'm trying to think of,
Executive would be the voice of, no, I think it would be like.
Sure, which I think is fine, but I think an addition needs to be there. The executive committee made up of all officers, with the permission of the council, will act on behalf of. Because then you may have people saying that they're speaking for the council without speaking for without getting the agreement of the council.
That's true.
That was my only question.
That's a good point, yeah.
yeah, I think that is personally important to have it underlined and keeping it. But I don't. Are we talking about taking it off?
No,
No.
just,
Because, like I said, it's not that I don't expect people on chair to read in front of the Senate or the House.
Uh-huh.
I don't. That when we have full control, like we're going through the foster care thing, I totally think this is an appropriate way of how we're going through a moment right now. But yeah, I just don't want. Yeah, please continue on. Sorry.
So, in my position, if I am speaking to people, they know that I'm a pastor.
Yeah.
But I am not speaking for my church without the permission of my church.
Yeah.
I can't not be a pastor, but I am not speaking for my church without the permission of my church. If you're talking about testimony or talking to somebody else, you can't not be part of this committee. But if you're saying that you're speaking for this committee, you need to have the permission of the committee before you're doing that.
yeah.
So,
Does that make
and as
sense?
approved
It
by
does.
or with the
I'm
permission
okay
of-
with it.
Yeah.
And that takes all my other subcommittee issues away a
Yeah,
little bit,
that's-
because then they can't act on the behalf of.
Sure.
And if someone in the media, when I say media, for the record, I'm talking about my education and the way I was trained in media and
Sure.
my own experience. So please take that in consideration, those who are hearing this conversation. But when it will help us when people are nipping out, from ChatGPT and other ideals, in ways of how we move forward a policy.
You guys, and it is 5:54 p.m., so we're way behind schedule. I do need to leave at 6.
Okay, thank you very much, Colleen, and I will stand up. Okay. I think that's great language in today's conversation.
So then now it reads, the executive committee made up of all officers will act on behalf of the DD Council as necessary and as approved by the advisory council.
Yep.
Is that
Yeah.
That sounds
Yes.
good.
That sounds a lot less stress for me,
Okay. So
of what I know.
I move then to vote to approve the Article 8 subcommittees. Does anybody else have anything else to say? Before we vote?
No,
Okay.
we can go.
Okay, Chris seconds.
okay?
So all in favor of approving it?
Sorry, hands up.
Okay, all approved.
So in the 5 minutes that we have left, on the next article amendments, There really wasn't any input other than John had some input, but it was mostly approved. So John, do you want to share your input?
I think it was, what was the main point, amendments?
Amendments.
Yeah, I think my main thing is this 2/3 thing where there's a lack of representation, at least on the self-advocacy side, kind of like OCDD, meaning Oregon Council of Developmental Disabilities. I do wonder how we're going to navigate that while there is an approved, approved amendments and stuff like that. So, like I said, I mean, I know where we are right now, but it's still a very big concern of mine on those who are representing and how even providers have 3 or potential members. So that's where my issue is right now and how to navigate. I'm not asking for 3 votes right now. I mean, I would think it would be, but that would be a big burden also. But I just think that is something to be considered within amendments and how 2/3 are represented throughout the county, definitely in location and other not equity, but other reasons.
I feel like we adjusted the numbers earlier
We did.
on,
Yep.
so that hopefully, John, we will have a bigger voice in that 2/3.
Okay.
Right, last month we did, we talked about.
We talked about increasing the sum.
Okay, as long as the
One to
language is
2.
there, I can stand down as a community member of this council, give or take what we have to do on the other advocacy angles.
Does anybody else have any input about the amendment?
Is it 2/3 are present at the meeting or 2/3 of the full council?
Full council
Okay, thank you.
would be my understanding.
That's my understanding too.
Because you can also have like a proxy vote where
Thank you.
send it if you can't make it. Okay, so then I move to approve Article 9 amendments. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving it as it's read?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, perfect.
Okay. 3 minutes. Will we do it? The last article, hearing, let me put my glasses back on, sorry, hearing process and procedure was approved by multiple members via the email thread. John, you said you did not approve
It's
it.
not that I didn't approve it. It's just, first of all, I misinterpreted the online voting process at the time because it was my first one out of the gate. So I want to apologize to the council on that statement. But what I'm trying to point out in Robert's Rule of Orders and hearing process and procedures is people don't know this. I bought the book of nonprofits and associations of the American Bar Associations, how to be a nonprofit director. I mean, some people can do that, but some people aren't going to know the procedures and the hearing process and all that. Definitely with people with disabilities. No, I'm not saying all disabilities, but with how we process that. So I just wanted a conversation on how are we going to upload, download. Maybe it is like Ken said, maybe in a procedure manual, but just to me, that's where, even like the update with the agenda, I tried my best to go through Robert's Rule of Orders, and it's just, I want to make sure that those with disabilities can understand the process of how we maneuver, because an Oregon public meeting law is different than me going to my best friend to the garage, making a group of friends in ways of how some organizations may or may not have been structured. I'll end it there. But that's where I don't know where to push this conversation is, because for someone like myself, I can probably get around some of that, but I'm definitely can know that people with some disabilities, even myself, would need some more support on hearing process.
I think if someone has a question on a specific part of Robert's Rules of Orders, then they should just ask. It is widely used. I've been on boards for 25 years.
Absolutely.
We've always used Robert's Rules of Orders.
No.
People can easily ask questions if they're not quite sure of a specific rule.
But still, implementing is a little difficult. Definitely when no one had that opportunity to learn Robert's Rule of Orders for 30 to 40 years.
I think maybe
I've
the
got
onboarding thing would help that maybe.
I think something on the onboarding process would be great to know the meeting setting, because I've been also with testifying, and some self-advocates thought they can question legislators when they were not supposed to do that. Stuff like that. The environmental procedures, my only concern for self-advocates.
I need to look, I used to have a 3-page cheat sheet.
Exactly.
It's in the welcoming.
It's in the, yeah.
And if it is, then fantastic,
The book
and I
is
apologize.
ridiculous. You-
I know.
You use 3% of it.
Yeah. It's a different environment here, and I appreciate walking through that. I think I can probably vote for Robert's Rule of Oregon, but I do want to point out that Oregon public meeting law need to be reviewed with those.
I agree. They're not easily accessible. They're not accessible, right? So I do get that. We also county policies that we use that.
I
So it's
understand.
kind of it's in there, but it's not really
But we do,
realistically up for
like I said, I
debate.
think for the future, you really need to consider putting something in the bylaws. I can accept it on my own accord, and because of time constraints. But I do point out that it is a humongous issue with those with disabilities.
I agree with
We're
you.
yeah, I agree too. And we're at 6 p.m. Do we want to move ahead and
Is this
vote
the last
this
one,
in? It's
or-
the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm willing to concede for this year, but again, it really needs to be pointed out for those with lived-in experiences. They're not going to fight for themselves on that, or they could, but they need to be listened to. Thank you.
So I know we're past time by 1 minute,
Okay.
but I call a vote on Article 10.
Second.
Okay.
And I heard a second. Okay, all those in favor of approving it as it is stated?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Approved.
Yay.
All right, we got
Move to
bylaws
adjourn.
done today.
Do you want to move to adjourn?
We can move to adjourn unless I can put one comment in for the public record as we continue the agenda as approved. Inclusive Leadership Summit is coming up in September for those for the self-advocates who would like to be part of. Also, the Self-Advocacy Convention from the Arc of Oregon is coming up this month on the 11th to the 13th. One thing I'm going to put in the Self-Advocacy Convention that I did not put in other places is it should not be a place where you go to go days and legislate and do things and then have a party in ways of family, parent, provider, family networks. That is something that I want to make sure that professional development is made for those when we have these type of events in ways of those who are self-advocates themselves. So that's a cultural thing I'm giving Clackamas County right now in ways of how we navigate that conversation of how we get outside of the Gregory Forum and how we have those forums. So I'll leave it that there. And then the High Desert Self-Advocacy advocacy group that was given out is done by a award-winning self-advocate of what I've heard, who won 2 awards for the Ross Ryan category. And so I hope that people can communicate with them later, but I do wonder how we're going to navigate conversations in multi-county relations and how we can have those conversations in spaces in person and online. So thank you very much for that, and I would ask for a vote unless you have something.
I just have one quick thing to
Please.
throw out there, just a reminder to the council that this is not the June meeting. This was in replace of our May meeting, and so we do have our June meeting coming up at the end of the month. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
And again, I ask for chair for excuse absence on that for personal reasons, and I will be as committed as I can with self-advocacy. Thank you for the opportunity. I do need to vote for a meeting end. Do I?
I moved to end.
Move to end too. Thank you for the honor and have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Meeting is-
Good job, everybody.
20, yeah.
Good.
Okay, now public record.
Look what you